In this lecture, we will explore the legal rights and current issues that shape the development and operation of digital libraries. While digital libraries provide convenient and global access to information, they also raise complex legal questions related to ownership, access, protection, and ethical use of digital content. Understanding these legal aspects is essential for librarians, information professionals, researchers, and users to ensure that digital library services operate responsibly and lawfully. This session will focus on key legal rights such as copyright, licensing, privacy, and intellectual property, as well as contemporary issues that digital libraries face in today's digital environment. This lecture discusses legal rights and current issues in digital libraries, focusing on copyright and intellectual property rights, privacy and data protection, and open access licensing challenges. For example, it explains how digital libraries must limit downloading or sharing of e-books and journal articles due to copyright restrictions, and how user search histories must be protected to ensure privacy. The lecture also explores current issues and trends, including the evolution of social media tools, such as libraries using social media platforms to promote resources while managing risks like misinformation and content ownership. Overall, the lecture helps students understand the legal and practical challenges faced by digital libraries in today's digital environment. Legal rights in digital libraries refer to the laws and regulations that govern how digital content and resources are accessed, shared, and distributed online. As digital libraries make materials such as e-books, journal articles, images, and multimedia widely available through the internet, it is essential to understand the legal rights that control their use. These rights mainly include copyright and intellectual property rights, IPR, which protect creators and owners of original works. For example, a digital library cannot freely allow users to download or redistribute an e-book without permission from the publisher, and digitized academic articles remain protected even when accessed online. These legal protections ensure that creators maintain control over how their intellectual output is used and shared. Intellectual property rights, IPR, is a broad concept that covers various legal rights designed to protect intangible assets created by individuals or organizations. These rights include copyrights, patents, trademarks, trade secrets, and design rights. In digital libraries, IPR plays an important role in protecting creative and intellectual works such as literary texts, artistic works, research publications, and digital content. Copyright is a specific form of intellectual property that gives the creator of an original work exclusive rights over its use and distribution. This means creators have the legal authority to control how their works are copied, shared, adapted, or licensed. For example, a digital library cannot reproduce or distribute an e-book, journal article, or digital image without permission from the rights holder. These legal protections help prevent unauthorized reproduction, sharing, or modification of digital content while ensuring creators retain control over their intellectual output. Legal rights in digital libraries support four key components: protection, access, economic benefits, and collaboration. First, protection refers to safeguarding creators' works from unauthorized copying, sharing, or modification. Copyright laws ensure that digital materials such as e-books, journal articles, and multimedia content cannot be freely reused without permission, which encourages creativity and innovation. Second, access focuses on enabling users to legally obtain knowledge and information. Legal frameworks allow digital libraries to provide controlled access to resources, such as limiting database use to registered students and researchers for educational and research purposes. Third, economic benefits relate to how legal rights allow creators and publishers to earn income from their works. Through licensing agreements and subscriptions, authors and publishers are compensated for the use of their digital content. Finally, collaboration is encouraged when clear legal rules guide sharing and reuse. For example, universities and libraries can work together to share digital collections or research outputs under agreed licensing or open access terms, ensuring ethical and sustainable knowledge sharing. Privacy and data protection are critical issues in digital libraries because these systems store and manage large amounts of personal and sensitive information. This includes users' personal details, login information, search histories, and records of access to copyrighted materials. Protecting this data is essential to prevent misuse, unauthorized access, or data breaches. When digital libraries safeguard user information properly, they not only comply with legal requirements but also build user trust and promote ethical use of data. For example, in Malaysia, digital libraries are governed by the Personal Data Protection Act, or PDPA 2010, which requires transparency in how user data is collected, stored, and processed. At the international level, compliance with frameworks such as the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, is important for protecting user data across borders, especially when digital library services involve global access and cloud-based systems. Privacy refers to the right of individuals to control how their personal information is collected, stored, and used. In digital libraries, privacy concerns arise when users provide personal data such as their names, contact details, reading histories, or academic records while accessing online resources. For example, when a student logs into a university digital library, their search activities and downloaded articles should not be monitored or shared without consent. Users expect their personal information to be used only for legitimate academic or service-related purposes. Data protection, on the other hand, focuses on the measures put in place to keep personal data safe from unauthorized access, misuse, or security breaches. In digital libraries, this includes security practices such as encrypted login systems, password protection, firewalls, and restricted access to user databases. For example, digital libraries use secure authentication systems to ensure that only authorized users can access subscription databases, helping to protect sensitive user information and maintain data integrity. Privacy and data protection are essential in digital libraries for several key reasons. First, legal and ethical compliance ensures that libraries follow data protection laws and professional standards. For example, libraries must clearly inform users how their personal data is collected and used to avoid legal violations. Second, protection of personal and sensitive information is crucial because digital libraries store data such as user identities, academic records, and reading histories. For instance, a student's borrowing or download history should remain confidential. Third, prevention of data breaches and cybersecurity threats involves protecting digital systems from hacking or malware. For example, secure servers and firewalls help prevent unauthorized access to user databases. Fourth, user rights and access require libraries to respect individuals' rights to view, update, or request deletion of their personal data, such as allowing users to correct incorrect personal details in their library accounts. Finally, international considerations are important because digital libraries often provide access across borders. For example, a library using cloud-based platforms must ensure user data is protected according to both local and international data protection regulations. Open access refers to the practice of providing free and unrestricted access to research articles, academic papers, and other scholarly content. In digital libraries, this means making academic resources available to anyone without the need for subscriptions or paywalls. For example, a research article published under an open access model can be read, downloaded, and shared freely by students, researchers, and the public worldwide. This approach supports wider knowledge dissemination and promotes equity in access to information. Licensing, on the other hand, refers to the legal framework that governs how digital content is used, shared, and distributed. Licensing agreements set specific terms and conditions that determine whether content can be accessed, copied, modified, or redistributed. For example, a digital library may allow users to read and download an e-journal article but prohibit sharing it outside the institution, depending on the license. Understanding licensing terms is essential for ensuring that digital libraries provide access to content while remaining legally compliant. Open access and licensing in digital libraries involve several key challenges. First, the lack of standardized licensing models creates confusion because different publishers apply different rules. For example, one open access journal may allow free reuse with attribution, while another allows reading only but restricts redistribution. Second, copyright and ownership issues arise when it is unclear who owns the rights to a work, such as when a researcher writes an article funded by a university but the publisher controls its distribution. Third, financial sustainability of open access is a major concern, as many journals require authors to pay publication fees. For example, researchers from smaller institutions may struggle to afford these charges, limiting their ability to publish openly. Fourth, intellectual property protection in open access can be challenging because freely available content may be copied or reused without proper credit, such as when open access articles are shared online without acknowledging the original author. Fifth, digital preservation and long-term access present difficulties when open access content is hosted on temporary platforms. For instance, articles may become inaccessible if a repository shuts down due to lack of funding. Finally, ethical and equity issues arise when open access publishing advantages well-funded researchers, while others face barriers to participation, creating unequal opportunities for sharing and accessing knowledge globally. Current issues and trends in digital libraries can be understood across 5 main areas: technical issues, ethical and legal issues, user-centric issues, organizational issues, and emerging technologies. Together, these areas highlight the complex environment in which modern digital libraries operate. First, technical issues remain a major concern. These include digital preservation and longevity, where libraries must ensure long-term access to digital materials despite changing technologies and file formats. Interoperability is another challenge, as different systems and databases often use incompatible standards, making information sharing difficult. In addition, infrastructure limitations such as limited server capacity or slow networks can affect performance, while scalability and maintenance require continuous system upgrades as digital collections and user demand grow. Second, ethical and legal issues play a critical role in digital library management. Copyright and intellectual property laws require libraries to control how digital content is copied, shared, or reused. At the same time, data privacy and security are essential, as digital libraries store personal information such as user identities and access records, which must be protected from unauthorized access. Digital equity is also an important ethical issue, since not all users have equal access to devices, stable internet connections, or digital skills. Third, user-centric issues focus on the user experience. Usability and accessibility are crucial to ensure that digital library systems are easy to navigate and inclusive for all users, including those with disabilities. Another challenge is information overload, where users are overwhelmed by large volumes of search results, making it difficult to identify relevant and reliable information. Fourth, organizational issues affect the sustainability of digital libraries. Budget constraints may limit the ability to invest in new technologies, subscriptions, or cybersecurity measures. Staffing and skill gaps can also be problematic, especially when libraries lack personnel with expertise in digital systems, preservation, or data management. In addition, collaboration challenges arise when libraries attempt to work with other institutions but face differences in policies, standards, or licensing agreements. Finally, emerging technologies are shaping new trends and concerns. Artificial intelligence and algorithmic bias can influence how information is ranked or recommended, potentially reducing fairness and diversity in search results. Blockchain implementation is explored for secure record-keeping and rights management, but its high cost and technical complexity make adoption difficult for many libraries. Overall, these current issues and trends show that digital libraries must balance technological development, legal and ethical responsibilities, user needs, and organizational capacity to provide reliable, inclusive, and sustainable access to digital information. Social media tools have evolved significantly over the years, moving from simple communication platforms to powerful tools for information sharing and engagement. Today, they play an important role in how digital libraries interact with users, promote resources, and support knowledge sharing. For example, digital libraries use social media platforms to announce new e-book collections, promote online databases, or share information about virtual workshops and events. Social media also allows libraries to communicate directly with users by responding to questions, gathering feedback, and encouraging discussions around academic topics. In addition, libraries use these tools to share educational content such as research tips, information literacy guidance, or highlights from digital collections. Through this evolution, social media has become a key channel that helps digital libraries remain visible, accessible, and connected to their users in the digital environment. Social media tools present several important issues for digital libraries, particularly in relation to ethical considerations, content sharing and collaboration, user engagement and interaction, and misinformation and quality control. Ethical considerations are a primary concern when digital libraries use social media platforms. Libraries must use these tools responsibly by protecting user privacy and being transparent about how data is collected and used. For example, when users comment on a library's social media post, their personal profiles and interaction data may be tracked by the platform, so libraries must avoid practices that compromise user trust. Content sharing and collaboration allow digital libraries to promote resources and work with other institutions. For example, a library may share links to digital collections or collaborate with another library to promote an online exhibition. However, This also raises copyright issues when images, articles, or videos are reposted without proper permission or attribution. User engagement and interaction help libraries build relationships with users through comments, messages, and online discussions. For instance, libraries may answer research queries through social media or host live discussions. At the same time, libraries must manage inappropriate comments, spam, or misleading user posts to maintain a professional and trustworthy online presence. Finally, misinformation and quality control are critical challenges because information shared on social media is not always accurate or reliable. For example, unverified research findings or misleading news may spread quickly through social platforms. Digital libraries must carefully evaluate and curate the information they share to ensure accuracy and uphold information quality standards. In conclusion, legal rights and current issues play a crucial role in shaping the development and management of digital libraries. Issues related to copyright, privacy, open access, technical challenges, organizational constraints, emerging technologies, and the use of social media all influence how digital libraries provide access to information. Understanding these issues helps information professionals make informed and ethical decisions while ensuring sustainable and inclusive digital library services. Thank you for your attention, and I hope this lecture has provided a clear understanding of the key legal rights and current issues in digital libraries.